Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at RKLB and also ticker symbol ASTS with huge news and also a key date to share. We're also going to be looking at MMTLP and an update from the SEC legal case with regard to John Berger and George Palacaro. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, from a UK point of view, we can see the FTSE 100 reached an all-time high earlier today at 8,679. So good news for the UK markets. Moving over to the US, we can see that the markets and the world currently are on edge as Trump's tariff deadline approaches, with the key areas he's focusing on at the moment seem to be Canada and Mexico. So let's see how that plays out. And from Market Watch, we can also see that in terms of Microsoft earnings were probably the worst. We saw probably the worst drop in Microsoft since 2022, with earnings not well received. However, I do believe this is an overreaction. And from Market Watch, we can see here that Microsoft investment in AI should certainly start to pay off in 2025. So keep an eye out on a good discount price for market. So for Microsoft. So there was also earnings for Apple. So we can see here the key data for Apple: sales 123.4 billion versus 121.0 billion. So a good beat there. And there was also a beat on earnings per share, $2.4 versus an estimated $2.35. So in terms of a summary, we can see here that they're expecting going forward that the second quarter revenue of approximately 91.66 billion to 97.56 billion, and gross margins of 46.5% to 47.5%. And what Tim Cook has stated here is that he stated, "This is our best quarter ever, with revenue of 124.3 billion, up to 4% up from a year ago." So I think Microsoft was up over 3% in the market earlier. So great news there for everybody holding APPL. Let's have a look at news with regard to ASTS and RKLB shared live in our new Space Stocks channel in the Discord. So with regard to RKLB, they have announced a key date for the fourth quarter 2024 financial results. So we're going to have a look at a preview of that upcoming, and we're also going to be looking at ASTS. So let's have a look at what the news with regard to ASTS is. And we can see here in the Discord, we stated that the FCC approval to test space-based cellular broadband to the USA with ticker symbol T and VS, and this is using the Bluebird satellite for voice, data and video on standard smartphones. So good news there for ASTS. So let's have a look at the reaction for the chart for ASTS. So in the pre-market today, time of editing, it was up over 7%, and it has been on a discount for a while. So currently trading at $18.21, and the previous day was also up 2.77%, ticker symbol ASTS. So let's have a look at how RKLB has been doing over the previous 6 months. So over the previous 6 months, it's been up a staggering 444%, and those of you following the channel will know that we've been covering RKLB since it was trading around below the $10 mark. So right now at $28.53, and I think it is up also in the pre-market today. So let's have a look at the news. So from Yahoo Finance, we can see RKLB have announced a date for the fourth quarter 2024 financial earnings. So we're going to have a look at that date now. So we can see here from the press release, they've stated that the financial results for the fourth quarter 2024 are going to be released to the US markets on Thursday, the February the 27th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So keep an eye out on that date. So as in terms of a reminder of the previous quarter 3 earnings, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very bullish on RKLB. They delivered strong growth year on year, and we can see third quarter revenue was up 55% at $105 million. They had a backlog of $1.05 billion, and that represents an 80% year on year growth. And revenue guidance for the fourth quarter is approximately $125 to $135 million. So very, very promising there. And from the investor relations page, we can see here summary of the latest news. Obviously, we've had the news with regard to earnings and the other recent news. January the 23rd, 2025, the company's Firefly Blue Ghost spacecraft begins the journey to the moon, and this is supported by Rocket Lab software and components. So keep an eye out on all the catalysts for Rocket Lab. Before we look at the SEC update, shout out here to Nancy Dane, who's posted an update with regard to her upcoming book on MMTLP, and she states here, as promised, here is the edited introduction. What's real, what's not, question mark. The book is fiction. However, she states one of the incidents in Injustice is based on very real events that took place December 2022, which we know is the U3 halt, when a group of 65,000 investors suddenly and without warning were not allowed to trade their stock, and as a result of the U3 halt, the shares were frozen. They lost access to potentially millions of dollars, and in spite of Herculean attempts by the MMTLP community to get justice, which we know also stretched all the way to Congress, this is still their situation today, with apparently no justice in sight right now. So she hopes to shine light on the travesty unfolding by sharing the story in a fictional setting, and although this is a standalone book, it's going to be one of her sequels. And she goes on to say, with the exception of a few real people whose actual names are used in the story, the characters in the book will be fictional. So she hopes that this will address some of the injustice. And what I have posted in terms of a response to Nancy here, I have stated that I do think this story hopefully will draw more attention from the mainstream media, and also with the relevant authorities who need to look into the MMTLP fiasco, and with a point of view of getting the shareholders, including myself, much needed resolution. So let's now move on to the SEC update, and we can see here from the United States District Court in the Eastern District of Texas, SEC versus John Berger and George Palikaros. The defendant Berders has an unopposed motion to continue Rule 16 Management Conference, and defendant John Berger files that the unopposed motion to continue with regard to Rule 16 Management Conference, currently set for Wednesday, March the 19th, 2025. And he respectfully shows that the court, in terms of the following, the plaintiff, which is the SEC, has filed a complaint on June the 25th, 2024. Initially, the judge granted the defendant's motion to transfer this case. So that's the first part. And then let's have a look at the second part. And what John Berger has stated, he's requesting that the Rule 16 Management Conference be rescheduled for April the 16th or another date that is convenient for the court. So that's what the request is. George Palikaros is also unopposed to the motion, and no other dates will be affected by the brief in terms of continuing, and the motion is not filed for the purpose of delay, but for the purpose that justice may be done. So we're going to have a look at the implications of that shortly, but we can see here this is signed and dated January the 30th, 2025, and the counsel for the defendant George Palikaros indicated they are unopposed to the relief sought herein, and the counsel for the plaintiff indicated that they are unopposed to the relief sought herein as well. So let's have a look at in the previous video where we looked at the order governing proceedings. So no changes on number 1, 2 and 3, and on number 4 we can see the change is the date. Previously it was March 19, 2025. Now it's the 16th of April 2025. So that's the key date. So in terms of settlement, remember a key reminder, if the parties reach a settlement or any other resolution in terms of the case, the plaintiffs shall immediately submit a notice advising the court of this. So basically what that means, if there is an out of court settlement between George Palikaros and John Berger and the SEC, then the court will need to know. So that looks like that is certainly one of the possibilities. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.